Once upon a time in a town where everyone was as friendly as a golden retriever at a picnic, there existed a legend named Richard. This guy was practically a walking billboard for success, famous, filthy rich, and loved by all. Seriously, he was so nice that puppies probably looked up to him for lessons on kindness. The world needed more Richards. But alas, tragedy decided to be a buzzkill one day, and Richard bit the dust. His friends were devastated, and now they faced a conundrum that could make Einstein scratch his head. Who should lug Richard's coffin to its final resting place? They were determined to make it a spectacle, a parade of diversity and inclusivity like no other. First on their list was a poor black guy from the ghetto. "Oh, how wonderful it would be to show off our diversity," they exclaimed. But hold up, plot twist. This poor fella had only one arm, which put a bit of a damper on his carrying capabilities. Talk about a curveball to the quest for inclusivity. Undeterred, they embarked on a quest to unearth the rare beings who had once crossed paths with Richard. Along the way, they stumbled upon a taxi driver who walked with a limp and leaned on a cane for support. "Aha!" they shouted in excitement. "He's different. Perfect fit." But guess what? He couldn't handle the weight either. It was like the universe was playing a cruel game of pallbearer roulette. Not ready to throw in the towel on their diversity extravaganza, they turned their hopeful gazes toward a transgender woman. "This is it. Our moment of triumphant diversity," they proclaimed. But alas, this poor soul was a weeping willow incapable of holding it together long enough to bear Richard's coffin. Tough break, diversity dream team. At this point, reality gave them a firm slap across the face. They realized they had gone a little overboard with their inclusivity agenda and needed to consider something called equality. They set their sights on the less fortunate parts of town, thinking, let's find the underdogs, the folks who weren't as popular or loaded as Richard. Surely, they would find a worthy pallbearer among them. But as fate would have it, they asked folks with minimum wage jobs, only to discover that while they adored Richard, they couldn't afford to miss a day's work. Even the homeless souls they encountered had their own heavy burdens to carry. Irony was having a field day, it seemed. In the end, after all the hoopla, guess who ended up shouldering the responsibility? You got it, Richard's closest friends, the wealthy, popular, nice guys. 4 shining examples of privilege carrying their buddy to his final resting place. Can you hear the sound of shattered diversity dreams echoing in the distance? And lo and behold, when the local newspaper spilled the tea about the funeral, the townsfolk were up in arms. They cried foul, claiming that diversity, inclusion, and equality were nowhere to be seen in that group of pallbearers. So, my friend, the tale of Richard's funeral reminds us of a vital lesson. While diversity, inclusion, and equality are all well and good, let's not forget about merit, value, and purpose. Otherwise, we end up with a chaotic mess that's about as sensible as a penguin at a salsa dance. Life's a riot, isn't it? Full of surprises and ironic twists at every turn.